These were four angry white men who believed that they, white men in America, were the victims of reverse discrimination in the workplace. And they all told stories about how they were qualified for jobs, qualified for promotions. They didn't get them. They were really angry. And the reason I'm telling you this is I want you to hear the title of this particular show. It was a quote from one of the men. And the quote was, "A black woman stole my job." And then it was my turn to speak. And I said, I have just one question for you guys. And it's about the title of the show. A black woman stole my job. Actually, it's about one word in the title. I want to know about the word my. Where did you get the idea it was your job? Why isn't the title of the show "A Black Woman Got the Job" or "A Black Woman Got a Job"? Because without confronting men's sense of entitlement, I don't think we'll ever understand why so many men resist gender equality. We think this is a level playing field. So any policy that tilts it even a little bit, we think, oh my God, water's rushing uphill. It's reverse discrimination against us. So let me be very clear. White men in Europe and the United States are the beneficiaries of the single greatest affirmative action program in the history of the world. It is called the history of the world.
How did we get to a point where we treated other human beings as slaves and we're okay with that? When I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them. So it's to teach us in the woke world to open up and accept the possibilities that our privilege has created blind spots for us. And maybe I haven't seen what is really happening yet in all my years.
What happens when people inside the system start calling it out? Something unusual is happening. More people are starting to speak up from inside the system. And they're saying something Black Americans have been saying for years. There's a problem. Not just with individuals, but with the structure itself. Because racism isn't just about actions. It's about conditioning. What people are taught growing up. What they normalize. What they never question.
I want to talk about how isolating it can be as a white person when you call out racism. I was at my local coffee shop. There was a guy in there saying a lot of disparaging things about Muslims. He's talking to another person as he's saying things like, I can't stand that language. I don't even know what they're saying. They need to go back. You know, the same trope. I turned to him and I said, you're being racist and I don't appreciate it. And immediately the whole place, silence. I'm looked at as like the weird one. Someone said, whoa, 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 we don't want to have that kind of conversation. So as soon as I call out and say, hey, buddy, when you call out that kind of behavior, people don't like it. And it can be very isolating. And I feel isolated right now. I'm sitting in the rain making this TikTok because I want people to know that that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to isolate you. It's meant to be like, wait, did I say something wrong? Because I didn't say anything. I'm just reflecting back to this guy, hey, you got to watch your mouth when you're around me because I don't appreciate that. If you care about this type of topic, it's important to be prepared to know that a lot of people are not going to be receptive to you calling truth to that type of power. It's going to feel isolating, and you might end up making TikToks in the middle of a courtyard in the rain just to feel some sort of validation that I did the right thing. And the guy left after I called him that.
I didn't see this coming. Y'all ready?
This might hurt some feelings, but whatever. I was just scrolling through my feed and I saw a couple of posts about how white people have no culture. And I'm just over this white guilt, white shame type stuff. I'm not advocating for white supremacy. I'm just advocating the end of white silence and the end of white guilt and the end of white shame, because our culture participated in nothing that your culture hadn't participated in previously. We didn't start slavery, but we damn sure ended it. And the only place that slavery still exists are in people of color societies in Africa and the Middle East. enslaving them. We invented democracy. We invented the constitutional republic. The bubonic plague wiped out half of Europe. And what did we do? We got together and discovered Western medicine and inoculations and vaccines. I'm not saying that we're better than you, but we're damn sure not worse. There are 4 major ethnic groups in this planet. There are black people, white people, Asian people, and Hispanic people. And we are the smallest. And we are the only group that you're demanding shut up. And because we're not doing it anymore, you're just going to scream racist louder and louder and louder. And we are done.
I agree. Everyone has a voice. No one should be telling no one to shut up. Everyone has a voice, has an opinion, and everyone has the right to be heard and to voice their opinion as well. So to tell someone to shut up is disrespectful, but he has a great point.
We are not ashamed of who we are. We are not better than you, but we're damn sure no worse. And if we're so freaking terrible, then why? Why does the entire Eastern world flock to countries?
Racism is expensive. White people go into debt to keep the legacy of racism alive. It's a hill they're willing to die on. You are absolutely right. Let me show you something else. So we were talking about Redondo Beach and how the mayor and his friends who have kept new development from coming because they are really trying to keep the minority community out of Redondo Beach, how they have started begging residents to help them pay their legal bills from the lawsuit that they didn't win. They still have to pay their attorney fees. I think it's up to $1 million, at least $500,000. So instead of them spending their time actually doing something to improve our community, to help redevelop our Artesia corridor, which continues to have businesses that are leaving. We have a plethora of smoke shops and happy ending massage parlors. They would rather dig through my social media, make a caricature page of me, and find my pictures and start to meme them. So I actually had to call Meta and help get one of the pages taken down. So by the time Meta took down the first imitation page, they popped up with a whole new one. Their response to me talking about ending racism in Redondo is to make more racist posts. They've grabbed pictures of me and Auntie Maxine at certain events, memeing them on this imposter page. For those of you that don't know, I am an LA County Commissioner of Alcohol and Other Drugs, and I work with these people on legislation and guidelines to help curb some of the alcohol and drug problems in our county, which happens to be the largest county in the nation, so we have big problems. We have city leadership that has problems to deal with, and they would rather find hitmen like the mayor's friends to make fake pages and meme me because they don't like me speaking up against racism. Like you said, racism is expensive. Time is money, and they have spent a lot of time trying to dig through my life and make me shut up. Good luck with that. All right, it's your girl T. Until next time, peace, love, and good vibes.
Thank you so much for this question. I am honored to attempt to give it an answer. For the purposes of this video, it's going to be a conversation from a white person's perspective about the Black people of America. That's all I can talk about. That's all I have perspective on. White people have done every single thing in our power to make Black people feel less than, to feel worthless, to feel inferior, and you didn't. We failed. We failed in that. We enslaved you, we beat you, we bred you, we treated you worse than cattle. We did everything that we could in order to make the Black person in this country feel inferior. And you are still here and you influence everything. Every single day is influenced by a Black person in some way. Music is influenced by Black people. Fashion is influenced. The way we speak is influenced. Every single thing that is American culture has been influenced by Black American. So as a white person, if your people have spent hundreds of years telling you that these other people are worth less than you, you're going to be fucking annoyed when they don't act the way that you've been told that they should fucking act, right? That's their mentality. That is what their mentality is. They've been told their entire lives that black people are inferior. And so when you don't act that way, it enrages them. And that is it. It's jealousy. The community that black people have in every situation, Montgomery, there was a hat thrown in the air and you guys jumped into action. It was, I am so trying to be respectful. I really not trying white woman tears this. Black women have the DNA for every single human on the planet. It is in your bones. You make it. And that is magic. So it's another, it's like, I don't mean this in any disrespectful way. They're playing their role. It's just like the heteronormative way of life, right? Like you're assumed straight until you come out, because that's what everybody does. Everybody does it. And so we all play our roles that we are assigned, but black people in this country are not playing the role that was assigned to them in the mentality of white people. You guys aren't taking out our garbage. You're not taking care of our children. You're not in the fields. You know, you're educated. You are highly educated. Like, again, you are more educated. Black women are more educated today than every other class of person. And that happened in less than 50 years. It is jealousy. It is rage, and the fact that you guys are not playing the assigned role that they think that you should be playing. So I hope that this was respectful. And if I said anything out of pocket, please let me know in the comments. I am always learning. So thank you.
You know what's not right? It's not right to go into a movie theater and shoot up a bunch of innocent people trying to see a movie. White person. It's not right to go into a mall and shoot up a bunch of people trying to shop. White person. It's not right to go into our schools and shoot children and kids. White person. It's not right to go into our churches with people just trying to praise God and kill them. White person. It's not okay to go into a protest coming from another state with a gun and shoot up a bunch of people. White person. It's not okay to storm the Capitol just because you don't get what you want as far as who the president's going to be. White people. Let me give you a bit of advice. Don't ever judge an entire race of people by the actions of a few. Because if you're going to do that, then you better look at our race. Because, honey, we have a long, long history of being murderers and rapists and thieves.
If you're a white person, we need to start getting even louder on behalf of our friends and family who are minorities. Our government has antagonized them to no end. They're ripping up the street that proclaimed Black Lives Matter. They're removing accomplishments from our minority service members off of the Pentagon website. And now our federal government erased a ban on contractors who run segregated facilities. They are trying so hard to enrage our brothers and sisters of color. They want them angry and they want them out in the streets. It is so clear. I'm so proud of them for not taking the bait. I'm so proud of them for staying home and resting. But as they do, we have to fight on their behalf. The Civil Rights Act was only passed in 1964. I'm in my early 40s, but my parents grew up with segregation in their schools. And there's no way in hell, all these years later, we're going to go backwards to anything even remotely resembling that. If places are segregated and say whites only, that's not a place I will ever be. And any line of thinking that keeps us separate from one another is a thinking that we need to reject loudly and wholeheartedly. Nobody is better than anybody else in this country because of the color of their skin. We are not, in 2025, going to sit around and watch as a bunch of people make laws trying to make us go backwards. We have to be the loudest ones. We have to be the protectors. We have to be the allies. We have to be the advocates. We have to be the ones whose voices are the loudest in saying, we will not go backwards, and you will not oppress the minority community. Not on our watch. Not now, and not ever.
This might be a hot take, but a lot of white people are not happy. I'm Kylie, and I grew up in a very conservative area. I wanted to say that a lot of white people genuinely live some of the most miserable and isolated lives that you could even imagine. I think there are 3 reasons for this. The first is that there is just a general idea of just hyper-individualism and hoarding of resources. A lot of them are extremely stingy, don't tip well, and also don't donate to local charities. They're very isolated, and what few friends they have, their connection is built upon shared bigotry, which is obviously not a strong connection. Number 2, a lot of white people feel a sense of emptiness. They have the job, the car, the career, the kids, the Bible, but they don't feel that sense of fulfillment. I think it's because the subliminal messaging that white people get from birth is that they're so much better than everybody else. And once you're in that sort of position, you will not allow yourself to open up to other people and opportunities that would genuinely bring you joy and fulfillment. And the third reason is that a lot of white people genuinely feel like equality is the oppression of white people. That means other people getting rights means that some of ours get taken away somehow, which obviously isn't true and shows the hyper-competitive nature of being white in America.
Well, y'all know it's Thursday, so I thought, hey, let's piss off some white people. White people, we need to talk. I mean, genuinely, we need to talk. Because what sits at the base of all of the other problems in this country is racism. I know, you're not racist. I'm going to give you all the benefit of the doubt for a minute. Genuinely believe that y'all have been taught this. Y'all learned it in your homes, and then you taught it to your kids, and then so on and so on. And racism will stay a cancer in this country until this problem is dealt with. Now hold your hand when I say this, okay? This is the first one. There are 3. Whiteness is made up. Here's the truth. White people didn't exist at all until rich colonizers needed a way to protect their power. For the 1600s, there was no such thing as white people. There were Italians, Germans, Irish, French, all different, all often fighting. But what happened was when Europeans started stealing native land and enslaving Africans, what happened is that the rich white people thought, oh shit, you know what? These poor Europeans might band together with the people being oppressed. So they invented whiteness. Whiteness is not a biological reality. It is a completely man-made construct. It was a promise from the rich colonizers to everybody else that you'd always be just a little bit above everybody else. I mean, you got land and you got to vote, privileges, while everybody else got nothing. And that fake racial line kept poor white people loyal to rich white people. And you see that still happens today. But biology, your skin color is 0.1%, 0.1% of your DNA. There is no white gene. You've been defending this paint shade like it's a bloodline. It's not. It's just a man-made construct. Okay, point 2. Here's the next lie. And this one's going to be a doozy for you. Still holding your hand. That God made white people superior. Sorry to tell you, he did not. Don't worry, I have receipts. The reason that white people believe that is because of the twisting of 2 parts of the Bible. The curse of Cain and the curse of Ham. First, Cain and Abel in Genesis 4. The short version is that Cain kills his brother and God curses him to wander the world, but he puts a mark upon him. That's it. No mention of skin color, no curse on his kids. But white preachers centuries later decided that curse, that mark, was going to be dark skin. That lie turned into the idea that black and brown people were cursed by God. What? And then, of course, white people needed biblical reason to be able to enslave people, so they used the curse of Ham. That's in Genesis 9, and the short version is that Noah gets drunk, Ham sees Noah, that's his son. He sees his dad naked. Noah curses Ham's kids, saying that his descendants will serve others. And that's where you guys got slavery from. Still no race, still no skin color. But European slave traders said Africans were Ham's descendants. Boom, suddenly slavery was God's plan. You can see that when you put these 2 stories together, that these 2 stories became the backbone of supremacy, right? The curse of Cain for color and the curse of Ham for slavery. Bad theology, worse history, none of it based in reality. God didn't curse black or brown people. Racists did. And then they blamed God for it. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to drop the secret words, I learned something today. And like, repost, and follow for updates. And if you guys enjoy my content, you may want to go follow me over on YTube because, well, you know what's happening on TikTok. And lie number 3, this one's going to be like a punch right in the nuts. I'm still holding your hand. You are not God's chosen people. That's not true. This pretending that white Europeans are God's chosen people, it is a complete and total fabrication. And it didn't come from the Bible either. It came from the British Empire after colonization. You have to remember that by the 1800s, Britain was ruling like half the planet. claiming that it was their divine duty to civilize the rest of the world. And then all of a sudden, in the 1840s, someone invented something called British Israelism. No, I'm not kidding. The claim is that the British, and then by extension later Americans, white Americans, were the lost tribes of Israel, that God's promise to Israel to rule nations and inherit the land is really about them. No proof, no DNA, just ego in a Bible costume. And they used that to justify everything. Colonizing America, stealing native land, enslaving Africans. Because if they were God's chosen people, and conquest wasn't theft, it was destiny. And that's how the whole concept of manifest destiny took shape. And just for clarification, British Israelism is the thought that white people were cast out of Israel and they were part of the 10 tribes, the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Israelis, guys, would have been olive-skinned people that looked much more like me than white people. This became the holy cover story for the entire British Empire. God didn't give them land, they took it. They were never Israelites. They stole that story from genuine Israelites. Well, let's tell the truth, okay? Here, still holding your hands. Whiteness is made up. The Bible verses are twisted. Chosen people story, straight up stolen from Israel. And it was all created so that rich white men could hold power and convince the world that oppression was holy. It's not divine. It's a scam dressed up as destiny. Until we deal with these lies, which constantly create friction, that racism will be a cancer in this country. I hope at the very least, if you are a white person that watched this, who holds racist beliefs, I genuinely hope this caused you to at least question some of the things that you hold to be beliefs are potentially a lie.
And now, some are questioning it. They're looking back and realizing the things they were taught don't match reality. That discomfort, that's awareness. And awareness changes everything. Because once people recognize the system isn't balanced, they can't pretend it is anymore. But here's the challenge. Awareness doesn't automatically equal change. Because acknowledging a problem is different from fixing it. And that's where the real work begins. So the question is, will this moment lead to real change? Or just temporary realization? Because history has seen both.